Although mass shootings get most of the media attention, what goes unremarked is the fact that studies suggest 6% of Americans are assaulted in some way in the workplace. Most of these assaults are fairly minor, pushing, shoving, punching, but still 6% is an astounding number of people who are assaulted. If you consider not only physical assault, but psychological verbal assault, the numbers are more like 40%. So this is an important area because being assaulted physically or non-physically can be extremely stressful, and stressful events are linked to both health and well-being and have implications for employees and organizations and the organizations themselves. I've been interested in workplace violence for about 40 years, and recently we've started looking at nurses. The reason we're interested in nurses is because workplace violence is a reasonably frequent occurrence in the workplace, but for nurses it seems to be very common. So hospital nurses, 25, 50, even 75% of them, depending on what they're doing, could be assaulted in a given year. So we've started studying nurses, and one project we have going on right now is of new nurses. So we pick up nurses who are graduating from USF in the last week before they graduate. We get some baseline measures, we get contact information, and then we've been following them for up to 2 years on the job. We find out about whether or not they've been assaulted, and we're trying to figure out factors, both factors having to do with the nurses themselves and their workplace, that can predict whether or not they're assaulted, and ultimately we hope to be able to figure out ways to reduce it. So one of the main things we're looking at is what we call violence prevention climate. These are practices and policies and organizations around violence and the need to reduce violence. Our research so far is showing a clear link between this climate and violence, and so the ultimate step would be to figure out ways to improve the climate. So we're thinking about training supervisors, about advising organizations, mostly hospitals, about policies that they might introduce, and then if we can improve the climate, we're hoping it will reduce the violence.